Good morning, everyone. I'm Jenny. Thanks for tuning in as always. Now, before I talk about this week's Cosmic Vibes, what's coming up, I want to remind you all that I am going live right here on YouTube, offering free clairvoyant psychic readings on Saturday, April the 26th at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Pacific. Now, the only way that you're going to be able to get a free reading by me is to tune in. What are you guys waiting for? I'm just saying. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Please like the videos. Let me know what's going on with you guys and so on. I do enjoy chatting with you. Now, listen up, you guys. Now, this week, April 18th to the 25th, this is a week of miracles. Like, thank God, right? Like, thank the Lord. We are moving into the Easter energy, Easter weekend. How many of you celebrate Easter? You know what? Even if you don't celebrate Easter, you're going to find that those awaited phone calls or messages that you've been waiting for could be coming in. There's unexpected surprises coming this week. Like I'm saying, is it not about time we had some fun? Is it not about time we're like, how many of us deserve that break? All of us do. Every single one of us deserve that break. So you might find that, I'm going more into wanting to spend time alone because this is like a really spiritual time. I mean, like normally for certain times and so on, like Easter for me, I normally go into deep trances. Like I channel and connect with the Christ consciousness. I always have for many, many, many reasons and for many years. It all started with once upon a time, I had a very profound near-death experience with Christ standing right there in front of me. So I go way, way back into this energy. So for me, I'm always, like very grateful. And even whenever you look back, you might even find that this weekend, I'm just so grateful for having amazing people in my life or so grateful that, this has happened. I'm so grateful I have a place to stay and food on my table, like even the smallest little things, because this weekend for you that celebrate Easter, let's say with family or friends, or maybe you're like, I'm just going to spend it with me and my person, or me and my pet, or just myself. However it is for you, you're going to be finding that, wow, things are actually starting to work out now. So this is why this week coming up here, it could be a really big transformational breakthrough. Certain things that felt stuck, certain things that you're like, oh my gosh, I had to put my life on hold for this and this and this and that. You're going to find that this week it's going to open up for you. This is when it's like, wow, I'm really starting to have faith now that things are actually moving forward for me. Now I understand why this had to happen or why that didn't happen. It's a higher month as it is for higher consciousness, April, certain times, certain energies and stuff. We have those solar flares going on too. Solar flares can throw you off track. Solar flares can make your body heat up. Like it's almost like, why am I cold one minute and hot the next? Am I getting sick? It brings a lot of disruption to the planet and so on, but it can bring unexpected surprises. Expect the unexpected this next week, right? But you might find that it's been that phone call, what, everything's okay. Or you know what, this is now ready, or this door just opened for you, like whatever it is, right? Some you guys have been like, wow, I've been waiting forever to like hear from that person or hear from my job or hear my results or like whatever it is. Those could be coming in for you. That energy could be coming in for you. So you're going to find that you're going to be like ending certain situations too. It's going to be like, oh, thank God that's over with. Whew, now I can close the door on that, and it's about like transformation, rebirth. We are the year of the snake as well. So, year of the snake, transformation, rebirth, shedding the old skin, bringing in the new. That goes on for the entire year. So, you're going to see this week, wow, oh gosh, now I'm getting things back together. Like, oh my gosh, now I can start this again, or now I can finally work on this. It's a really, really good weekend. You're going to be more social. You're going to be, really changing, like your behavior or actions, or if you've been dealing with toxic patterns, or behaviors, or wow, gosh, I just went off the deep end. Maybe now I'm going to focus more on my health. Maybe now I'm going to end my relationship finally, because I know it's just not working, or I know that wow, I have to face the reality of this. I have to close the door. So it's a huge transformational week. So really pay attention. I mention that all the time. Like spirit gives us signs all the time. And it's whether or not you pay attention to it or not. This can be a really kind of a more can bring a lot more tears to the table, a lot more emotions to the table, because holiday time, Easter time, we could be reflecting back on, people that have passed away. Once upon a time ago, I used to have Easter with, my family and my friends, and they've passed on. You very well could be feeling their energy more so to you this time. Like there's a lot of angelic energies at play. So you could be like, wow, I'm feeling someone around me. Like I see signs all the time. Of course, I channel and work with the universe 24/7. So I get messages incoming at any given time. So you want to pay attention to your dreams as well. So whenever you're waking up, you're like, wow, I just had this profound dream. I had this dream that I was showing my future, or I had this dream that, wow, it really showed me something. Like, pay attention, because with those solar flares, sleep is going to be off, sleep is going to be light. So you're going to be like, why am I waking up at 3 a.m.? Why? What can you do? What can you do about it? So, of course, when you can rest for the loss of sleep, take advantage of that energy, and really, like just rest and such like that. Like you could be feeling and seeing more abundance coming in. Maybe all of a sudden, for those of you who are self-employed, or like all of a sudden, boom, you got really busy. Like I'm saying, this is a breakthrough time. This is a transformational breakthrough, body, mind, and soul, and so on. You could be like, what, oh, I'm done. I need to move on. I need to end this relationship, or this job, or this toxic behavior, or all of that. You're going to be more honest with yourself about things, because you're going to see more coming to light. So on the 18th and 19th, you might be like, you know what, I'm going to really start planning, my week ahead. Of course, Easter weekend, some of you are having dinners and so on. You could be like, yeah, we need to prepare for this. We need to plan for that. You're going to find that 18th and 19th, you're going to be setting more long-term goals, because something could happen like even on the 17th, 16th, 17th, pay attention to the last videos. You're going to see certain days when certain things happen. So you might have had something happen on the 16th and the 17th that you're like, you know what? I'm now starting to look at long-term goals. This is a year for more long-term goals with Universal 9 year as well. So some of you are like, yeah, I'm making some big changes now. Those the goals that I have, we can retweak our goals at any time. But even this week, the last few days, you're going to be like, that's like a long-term goal now. It has to be, because if we move something or shift something too quickly, it can fall apart just as fast, because it's not the right timing, it's not the right path, and so on. So you were being shown that for a little while now. So this is why this week you're going to be like, your eyes are going to be more open. So you're going to be like more in touch with, especially more with nature, You might find that, you know what, I'm just gonna go away for the weekend. Maybe we're just gonna go up to the mountains or go more in touch to Mother Nature and so on. I just want to be more grounded. I just want to have more space for myself and so on. So you're going to want to be in that grounding because we are in Taurus season as of the 19th. Forest energy, it's all about earth energy, being more grounded, wanting to be more in touch with Mother Nature and so on. So, how many of you are getting drawn to, I want to go on hikes or maybe just get in touch with nature a bit more? So, you might find that your plans that you normally make, let's say at Easter, you might be like, you know what, I'm not doing any of that anymore. I'm going to plan on getting away. I'm just going to book my getaway, right? So really pay attention to what works for you, right? There's a lot of reunions coming up, a lot of unions as well, with people from your past and such. And you're going to have that courage more that, the 18th and 19th to face reality, to really pay attention to, gosh, I got to face this. You could be taking more risks as well, right? This is not the time to take huge life-changing risks, but this is the time to be more open to risks. You know, like just don't jump into things. These risks that I'm talking about are things that you have been thinking about for a little while, things that you've been like, I got to make these changes. Now I'm just going to take a risk more so with doing this or doing that and so on. So the energy will work with you when you work with it, right? Like whatever it is. So you might find on the 20th and 21st, you very well could be especially more emotional during these 2 days, right? Reflection on people who are passing away and so on. You could even reflect back on friendships that ended, you know, for whatever reason. You could be like, wow, it's just too bad that, my friendship or my relationship ended for whatever reason. So it's really important. Like, let's say, for instance, when something ends, or if I'm going to end a friendship or connection or whatever it is, I will be like, let me just really see how this has worked out for me, how this hasn't worked out for me. This person might not have been honest with me. They might have taken me for granted. They might have like whatever it is, I could go on and on and on. And this is where that reflection is so important rather than dusting it under the rug and ignoring it, because that's when we have to keep on repeating toxic patterns. Why did my friend keep doing this to me? Or why did my person treat me like this? Well, why are you allowing that? Why are you allowing that to happen? And that can be like, oh my gosh, more and more being exposed, truth coming out, all of those. That's just going to continue to happen and happen and happen because the spirit world truly, truly wants to work with you and help you and bring things right to the core. So as you've been reflecting and looking at taking more risks, you're going to find that the 22nd and the 23rd, I have more faith now. I took those risks. I signed up for that class or I booked that flight or whatever it is, right? So you're going to have more your faith, and your sleep's going to be on and off, like I'm saying. That's when you very well could have like more vivid dreams, more and more and more. Really pay attention to those messages that are incoming. Really pay attention and really, really listen to your heart. What's the messages from your heart? You very well could be more compassionate towards people, more empathetic towards people and situations. When I worked at the hospice, I worked on and off at the hospices for many years. And, Easter, just certain holidays, it's a big time for people to pass on, pass away. So that's why I'm always saying to everybody, when you have that little, I'm just going to phone this person or my friend or family member, whoever it is. I got this pulling that I should go see them. Really listen to that message. Really listen to that message. And it could be at any time. I'm not saying it's just this weekend. However, certain times more people pass on than others, and your animals, especially your animals and so on. Right. So really pay attention. The solar flares energy combined can set our animals off or our loved ones or anybody who are not well. All of a sudden, boom. How many of you have walked into, like let's say somebody's at the hospital or hospice or not well, and you see them and you're like, wow, they don't look that good, and you go visit them and such, and then you're like, I'm gonna go back and see them the next day and they're gone. You know, I'm I just want you guys to just be more in awareness, be more in awareness of what's really going on and so on and so on. You will be glad you did. You'll be glad you made those decisions. Your intuition is going to be a lot more stronger as well. As I said, I go into deep, deep, deep trances at times. And, that's what I'm always saying, spend quiet time with yourself, just in quietness. You could be listening to music or whatever, going more in touch with Mother Nature and so on. You are going to start getting those little insights coming in, that gut instinct, or I got to change this, or I got to do this, or I got to get pulled to, go to the doctor, or I got to get that checked, or like whatever it is. Really listen to that inner voice. Roadblocks are for reasons. Like even that television job I mentioned, that I turned down. There's a few reasons why. And if I would have taken that job, I might have missed out on my health and it could have gotten really bad. And it could have been like, sorry, it's too late. Right. So really listen to that voice. It's like, I don't know why I have to say no, or I don't know why I have to say yes, or I have to go see this person, or I have to go see, like whatever it is. It's going to get stronger this weekend. Really pay attention to that. Wow, this, and these opportunities and all. Yeah, of course, right? So you might even find that some of you are getting engaged this weekend, or all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, or oh my gosh, you like all of those things. This is a week of unexpected surprises. Hell, go buy lotto tickets, right? I'm not saying you're going to win, but don't. I, you know what I mean, right? We all have our things to do. Now, the 24th and the 25th, you guys might find like, wow, I'm a little bit more active. Maybe, we had those big Easter dinners or we've been indulging. Wow, I want to start doing my workouts or change my health routines or my wellness routine. You're going to find that you're going to start making more solid plans. Those long-term plans and such, there's always short-term goals that we have to do and work through, but you're going to be like, I'm going to make more solid plans. I've seen more clarity this weekend, my intuition, I got all these signs from the spirit world. Now I'm going to set that in motion. The universe will work with you when you have made a decision to go this way or go that way. So you very well are going to start switching up and changing your routines, especially with health and wellness and such like that. Some of you could be joining like classes, like a workout class or yoga or dance class or something more active. You might be like, I really need to do this. Taurus season can be a little bit more active as well, more grounded with earth. Yeah, I'm signing up for that retreat. It's way in Mother Nature, or yeah, I'm going on that hike, or I'm like whatever it is. So you're going to be implementing these changes even more. And you're going to be like, you know, committing to something or someone. How I said some of you could get engaged. Maybe your person is going to be like, I'm ready to commit to you now. We've been dating for a while, or now I'm more ready to be exclusive. Some of you might be ready to make a commitment to yourself of I'm going to stick to this routine or I'm going to stick to this goal. Maybe some of you are committing to get a pet or to foster children or to like there's going to be some more kind of a bigger commitment, not just a, oh yeah, I'll commit to buy that. No, it's more of a bigger commitment you're going to find that you're going to do. So let me know what you guys are making a commitment to. When you're making a commitment to yourself, that's a pretty big commitment too, right? Like whatever it is, whatever it is. So, I mean, I've been waiting for a phone call myself with something for a while, and it very well could be the week that I'm going to get that phone call. I'm going to be yes, right? I've been waiting for something. So, you all of a sudden could hear, like I'm saying, that message, or maybe it's a job, or like whatever it is. So, this is why this week it's like expect the unexpected. It's a really big transformational week on so many different levels. It's a week to really step forward and own it. Maybe those talents and abilities you have are going to really, really, really pay off. And the beautiful thing about it, there's no planets in retrograde. Thank the gods. Thank the Lord for that. Amen. Right? That's why things are also going to be stepping forward. It's time for you to go out there and really, really, really have some fun and so on. But really take a look at what are you truly grateful for? Like, what are you truly grateful for? It could be the littlest things. Like I'm I like simplicity myself. So I'm so grateful for the simplest things. Believe me, like the simplest things. Could be anything. When you stay more in alignment with gratitude and being grateful, new doors will open up for you even more so. You're going to find that you're taking your power back even more, and things are going to come more in alignment for you. As we go through different healings and letting go of certain things, we take our power back. That's why it's like, ending certain relationships, no matter what it is. It's like that person is toxic or that's just not working out. We go through that dark night of the soul. And when you start to face reality of what's not working and you take those steps to make the change, you will see new doors opening and things coming together more in alignment. So you're not going to want to go searching for validation from everything else. You're going to hear that little voice. You're going to hear your soul speaking, and you're not going to be chasing things anymore. You could find that, well, I've been sending messages to this person. Let's say, for an example, I don't hear back from them. I'm not hearing back from them. You're going to find, you know what? I'm not chasing them. You don't need to chase anybody. Why? Why? So you're going to find that I'm not running after that anymore. I'm not. I'm going to take my power back and make this happen on my own. I don't need this person. I don't need that. You have to trust the process and surrender. Like I surrender everything. I mean, I work towards my goals and all of those things, yes. But you know what? I surrender it. I surrender it. Let's say if I was applying for a job, for an example, right? I'd be like, I'm going to apply for that. I'm going to trust the process. If that is the right job for me, it's going to happen. And I surrender it. I just let it go. You only have control over yourself, nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. The decisions you make can change your life by either a yes or a no, right? You have no control over everybody else. Like I talk to so many people every day and well, why isn't my person marrying me? Why isn't, he asking me out? Why isn't she doing this? Like, how do I, make that person fall in love with me? You cannot do any of that. No, 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 no. Allow things to naturally happen, right? Well, I want all of those things in my life. Well, what are you doing to work towards that? What steps are you taking to create new doors to open for yourself? Take a look at where your roadblocks are. Take a look at what is holding you back. Be really honest with yourself. You know, be really honest with yourself. Yeah, but I don't want to hurt that person. I don't want to end my relationship with that person because, it's going to hurt them. Nobody wants to hurt anybody, right? But if you're in, let's say, a toxic situation, or you're in a situation that you're like, wow, we want different things now. We're not on the same path. And oh my gosh, talk to your person, have a heart to heart conversation. Yeah, but if you cannot talk to your person and be honest about what's truly bothering you, that is not your person. That is not your person. If your person shuts you out and doesn't communicate to you, and you're like, what's going on? I can't even have a conversation. When there's no communication in your relationship, there's no relationship. there's no relationship. That's when miscommunications come in and people are confused of what's going on. Like, I don't get it. My person says this, and then the next day they say that. Confront that person, confront your person, be very direct and be very blunt. Because if you don't, you're going to go on the hamster wheel, you're going to go on the merry-go-round. There's going to be no changes. So that's a huge step, you guys. Huge step. Keep your heart open, trust the process, have that faith. You might find that when you do confront that person, you're like, oh my God, we both actually want the same things. Oh my God, we're both on the same page. Oh my God, now I'm going to marry that person, or now I'm going to commit. You see, right? We don't brush those things under the rug. When we face the situations, doors will open. Believe me, I get opportunities all the time coming to me all the time. So you face things one way or the other. You don't run from things. Nobody likes to deal with problems. Nobody likes to deal with negative and traumatic things, but we can't ignore that. It's like, how are you going to get through that door? I don't want to go there. Okay, well, when you're ready to make changes, when you're ready to see changes make, you hold the key to open that door and walk through it. Oh my God. Believe me, I've had some shocking events happen to me this past little while. And I'm like, oh my, like good and not so good. But when you face it and look at reality and deal with it, the universe will work with you and so on and so on. So open week, surprises coming, incoming surprises, really good surprises, be open and unexpected. So it could be a combination between a couple of different things, but stay positive because this can be a really, really good week forward for you guys, you know? So let me have a little talk with the cards. I don't use cards whenever I do a reading with somebody. I'm a psychic clairvoyant. So whenever somebody books a reading with me, I read your energy, see where you're at, your level of consciousness. And I give you all of my insights into what I see coming up for you. I'm an animal communicator, past life Akashic records, all of those things I do. I combine everything together, right? So you can always book a personal one-on-one reading with me, soulworkwithjenny.com. But of course, YouTube, I'm going to use cards, to see what the universal message is just for you. So, of course, not all of you are going to relate to the cards, but if you do, let me know. Like, let me know what's happened. Let me know what's coming up this week. Let me know what you guys have dealt with and so on, right? So I'm going to use this deck here, Psychic Tarot for the Heart, John Holland. You should always be honest and speak from your heart, no matter what. Yeah, but I don't want to hurt my person. When you're speaking from your heart with integrity, with the right intention, you're not purposely hurting your person at all. You're not when you're being honest. I have these concerns about this and that. I just wanted to talk to you about it. And you might find that your concerns can easily get fixed, and your person might be like, well, why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you tell me that bothers you or whatever? Problem resolved, right? Face things, face things. So, anyways, let's have a little chat with the universe. What's coming up from the 18th of the 25 till the 25th of April? Like, oh my God, we're getting closer to May. Like this is unbelievable. Like unbelievable. 18th of the 25th, what is the message? 18th of the 25th, what is the message from the spirit world? Wow, wow. I don't make these cards up, folks. Coming together. Look at that. Coming together. What did I talk about? This is a week where there's more commitment. Commitment. You could be committing to somebody. You may be having that heart to heart talk with your person, making a commitment to, okay, you know what? We need to make some changes. How can we work through this? What can we do to make these changes? You very well could be proposing to your person. You could be committing to yourself, making a commitment to yourself. You know what? This is my goal. I'm sticking with it. Coming together, reunions with family or friends and so on. There's reunions, holidays, Easter weekend, seeing family members or friends or so on that you haven't seen for a little while, and so on. You're coming together as one. Green is the heart chakra. Green is very healing, right? Like, how awesome is that? Okay, so let's have a little chat with our animals, right? I'm an animal communicator too. I talk with the animals who are passed on and the animals who are here. Um, Animal guides, Radley Valentine. I might be pronouncing that wrong. So what's the messages from our animal kingdom? I consider all animals animals. Like a whale, I consider that an animal, not like a sea life. Right? I mean, it's a sea life, but you know what I mean? An elephant, that's an animal. Creatures, animals, so on. So what is the message from our animal kingdom from the 18th to 25th? Maybe some of you are going to have some dreams as well from your animals that have passed on. You know, like our dreams that we're going to be having, there's messages in there, right? You know, we can also dream about our fears. So if you're dreaming about, oh my God, I had this dream about, you know, whatever it is you're fearing about, because your soul is bringing this up to you to confront your fears, especially if you're running from it. Or maybe we get overwhelmed and we think too much and we go into fear zone, right? What is the message from the 18th to the 25th? What is the Oh, look at this. I mean, I think all animals are cute. Okay, so this card here is unity. How interesting. The polar bear. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. Now, what did I say? A week of huge transformations. Spend time with others who are also on the sacred path. What did I say? A weekend of unions, a weekend of reunions. Compare traditional methods with new ideas. Like, oh my gosh. So, you know how I said that Easter, you guys could be like, you know what, every year we normally do this for Easter. We are the ones that are cooking and have everybody over. Or, you know, we do this, and that. So some of you might be like, you know, why don't we go out for dinner instead? You might make some changes. You might be like, you know what, I'm not into really doing like having the big dinners or doing all of these things. I'm just gonna book the weekend away somewhere instead. Maybe we're gonna go on a hike with someone. Maybe we're gonna go and do this before this or that, and so on and so on. So you're gonna see these little changes that you're making and that you're gonna want to make in order to step it up a few notches and make some changes. You know, listen to that little voice. Listen to that little voice, right? So let's have a little chat here with our romance cards because, you know, it very well could be like an amazing like reunions. So we're going to have a talk with the romance angels by Doreen Virtue. You know, maybe some of you are decided we're going away for a romantic weekend. Yeah. Alrighty. 18th to the 25th. Too many cards. Too many cards. 18th to the 25th. It's a message. 18th to the 25th. You know, when you let go of um, what you're hanging on too tightly, things will flow much better. Because if you're hanging on to something or you're attached to something too tightly, the universe can't make things happen because you're clinging on to that. So when you let go, trust, surrender, things start to flow better, new doors open, and so on. Now, interestingly enough, the card Playfulness comes through. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. Yes. You know, is this not a week where there's no, you know, like next 3 weeks, no planets in retrograde? Maybe you guys want to go out and have some fun, right? How many of us have been dragged down to hell and so on for so long? You're like, oh my God, I've just no more of this, no more of that, right? Have some fun. Maybe you guys are planning like an Easter hunt for the kids and stuff like that. Maybe you guys are going away for a romantic weekend, like I'm saying, right? Have some fun. Have some fun, right? Let go. You know, I used to have this, it's been many years, mind you, but this witch hazel laugh. And believe me, it used to cackle and come out and such like that. But it takes something really, really funny to make that happen. Believe me, that happened last night. I saw a little video, Jimmy Kimmel. Oh my God. And I actually sent it to, like I put it in my Instagram for you of those who are following me on Instagram, Jenny G Cousins. I put a little thing in there. It was a little political, but it was really funny about eggs. And oh my God, when I watched the full video, Jimmy Kimmel, I follow him. Oh my God, I was laughing. Like, oh, it was so funny. I'm not going to go on about the video, but for those of you who you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not having eggs for breakfast. But sometimes the silliest little things, right, can sneak up on you. And then you're like, oh my, I'm sure my neighbor heard me laughing. I think it was like at 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny. Right? So littlest things. So now listen up, you guys. How many of you are subscribed to my channel? Really, hit that little button down there in the corner. Like the video, make some comments. How many of you are especially joining me live right here on YouTube on the 26th Saturday, 12 noon Mountain Standard Time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, to have a free psychic clairvoyant reading by me? The only way you're going to do it is to join me live, or you can book privately, soulworkwithjenny.com. Now have a beautiful Easter weekend, everyone. Now